Hey, it's your buddy Carl with Gray Matters, back to answer another question I have gotten in my emails and private messages. Um, they're wondering if I'm ever going to have any other people on, if I'm ever going to do interviews. Yes, I'm going to have interviews. I'm going to have discussions and debates in the future. Right now, that has not materialized, as I wasn't planning on doing the show this way this early. I planned on launching it later this year, but given the recent events, I felt it was absolutely necessary. I'm working on a new video right now, an actually somewhat well produced video that I'm hoping to get it out this weekend, and I'm hoping it will get around the internet and maybe inspire some people to get their heads right. But yeah, so yes, I do plan on having guests. I do planning on having interviews. The one thing we won't be doing, however, we're not going to be having shouting matches on Gray Matters. No. There's not going to be a Republican guy screaming at a Democrat or any such thing. That's not going to happen. This is going to be a show about, because what I really want to do is present ideas about solutions or possible solutions to issues. I want to actually contribute something. And you might hear the ideas that you've already heard a million times. But you might hear ideas that you've heard, that you've thought of yourself. A lot of the ideas, a lot of the things that will solve our problems are not going to be revolutionary. Some of these are going to be tried and true practices that we've just abandoned because someone convinced us that it was a bad idea, or that we just decided we're not going to do that because we'd rather do this because it gets us more political favor or whatever. So yeah, there's going to be interviews, and there's going to be a lot more to this show than just me getting on a camera and saying a bunch of whatever and trying to convince you people to stop and think and use your brains. And expect more professional level videos and presentations in the near future. Oh, well, hitting some surprise traffic, so I guess I'm going to stick with you guys a little longer. Okay, well, see, other questions that people have asked. Let me see. I've already answered the how can I hold opposing views or seemingly opposing views. Maybe I could touch on some more of those. No, I don't want to get into that. So there was that. It seems that Trump has decided to try to at least make an effort, or some sort of effort, to try to calm things. However, the Democrats, smelling blood in the water, are now relentlessly on the attack. And Mitch McConnell, I'm going to give Mitch McConnell the political gold star of the week. Why? Because he has decided that even though the Democrats have voted to impeach Donald Trump a second time, which I think is not necessarily accurate, I go back to my argument of intent. I don't think he intended to incite violence. He may have accidentally incited violence, but that's just par for the course for his whole presidency. He doesn't quite understand the power of his words. He never has. He doesn't understand the gravity of his office, and that has been a problem since he got in there. On one hand, he does understand it, but on the other hand, he doesn't. And it's like he's used it for both very good reasons and very bad reasons. So I don't know. So I mean, you would think the guy knows what he's understands it, but I don't think he does. I think he has an idea, but he's just tossing it around, hoping he can, figure it out. It's like swinging a baseball bat wildly. You know it's going to break stuff, but you're just swinging it wild. You're not necessarily hitting what you need to hit. Not necessarily going to hit the piñata, so to speak. You might end up hitting the neighbor behind you. So, so that being said, Trump has decided to at least call for calm. Democrats, however, are still fanning the flames. I think they should drop this impeachment. Just drop it all together. Just don't even pursue it anymore. But Mitch McConnell gets the gold star of the week because he punted. And if there was ever a time to punt, I think this is it. One, he punted, and I think he made the right call for simply the well-being of the nation. I think that, he punted because he didn't want to deal with it. So he gets the political gold star because now it's going to be, there's going to be a Democrat Congress, and so now it's going to be all on them. And well, obviously they're going to have the trial. They're probably going to vote to convict Donald Trump, and so that gives McConnell the at least wiggle room to say, look, I didn't want to do this that way. We don't want anything to do with Trump, but we didn't want to go down that road. And this is all on the Democrats. And it will be all on the Democrats because, quite frankly, it's all the Democrats right now. While before this change in Congress. So, it was as political moves go, it was a good political move for him because it's going to make him it's going to put him in a better position with his base, and it's going to give him wiggle room in the future to maneuver. And like I said, on a grander scale, there's Congress and the presidents, and this includes Obama too, and probably, I could probably say Bush, and maybe Clinton, I don't know, but especially since Obama was definitely a party to this. There has been very much so, and this is now Congress. This goes back a while, but as far as the president jumping in, I think that that's just maybe the last 2 or 3 presidents. Maybe. I mean, I'm sure it goes back farther than that. But I mean, as I'm talking overt, obvious, like unquestionable sway. I mean, you could call it an arms race between the two sides, and this is one of the cornerstones of what I want to try to stop with our government, and I would like you guys to help me in any way you can. I mean, I'm open to ideas here. I mean, I'm just winging this thing. I got ideas, I got thoughts, and I'll present them at a future time, hopefully soon. The sooner the better, because we need to try to get this country back on track. But there's been this arms race. Obama really pushed the limit with the executive orders, and then Trump came in and said, "Oh, well, we're going to use executive orders. I'm going to go executive order crazy too." And now that goes back to like Reagan and even Carter, and before they started like increasing their use of executive orders to do things, to govern. The push to and the stacking of the federal courts, not just the Supreme Court, but even even on the district level, regional courts, they've different presidents and Congress have been stacking those and attempting to legislate so that they can legislate through the bench. So that is another problem that needs to be addressed. But like I said, it's become an arms race. And so now the Democrats use one of the powers that they have available to them. Then the Republicans will come right behind them the next time they're in power, and they use it to even greater degree. And then the Democrats come back and use that to even more of a greater degree. And then they use yet another tool, or the Republicans use yet another tool in the bag of Congress. And instead of using these benefits and these gifts and these tools that they have at their disposal to legislate and govern this nation, they've just used they're now using them as clubs to just beat each other over the head, and as a result, the country is suffering, and that's how we've ended up in this position where things are so incredibly tense in this country. And you know, if the Capitol incident doesn't highlight this to the greatest degree, then I don't know what will. But we are a tinderbox, and you could, you know, Democrats are going to blame it all on Donald Trump, and the Republicans are going to blame it all on the Democrats. But that is not. This has been going back and forth. Like I said, this arms race has been going back and forth with Congress and the presidency and the Republicans and the Democrats for decades. I mean, hell, it goes all the way back to FDR and Woodrow Wilson, Teddy Roosevelt, Abraham Lincoln. Hell, man, I mean, it goes back to the beginning of our country. But like I said, there used to be, at least from time to time, one side or the other, or a president would come along and go, or a speaker of the House, or somebody would come along and go, hey guys, whoa, let's rein it in, let's calm it down, let's talk like the civilized statesmen that we're supposed to be. But now, I mean, like, all bets are off. I mean, at this point, the gloves are off. It's just a barroom brawl, and we've got to stop that, man, because people, this is what Congress doesn't get. Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer especially don't get this right now. The funny thing is, they say they get it, but apparently they don't, because if they really did believe what they were saying, they would be taking a completely different approach to it, in my opinion. So yeah, man, it's got to stop. We have got to calm these people down. And I mean, honestly, if we had any sense, if the American citizens were really honestly looking toward the future and not looking at tomorrow, I mean, I'm talking, if we're looking years down the road and not at tomorrow, and not what's going to benefit us the most, and as the benefit us the most and benefit us more rapidly, then we would not be voting the way we're voting. If we were truly voting for our kids and voting, we would vote all these people out of office. Dude, Pelosi needs to go. McConnell needs to go. Cruz needs to go. Chuck Schumer needs to go. Sanders needs to go. AOC needs to go. Ted Cruz probably. Rand Paul. You know, Mitt Romney. Just all these people need to go. I mean, pretty much 80, 90, 100% of the Congress needs to get the hell out of there. And we need to get, we need a third-party president is what we really, really need. But it'll never happen. The voting bases will never allow that. And a third-party candidate, the third parties can't seem to get their act together. So, you know, they can't seem to organize and put on a strong showing on the campaign trail. I mean, Joe Jorgensen went the whole election relatively unknown. A lot of people didn't even know she was running for president. A lot of people didn't know she was running for president until they saw her on the ballot. And I'm talking people who were engaged in politics didn't know she was out there. So, like I said, guys, we gotta do better. But yeah, so yeah, if you got questions, send them to me in private message. Just make a comment on one of the videos. And if you got questions, concerns, like I said, let's have a discourse. You know, I'm not going to do trolling, and I'm not going to do, you know, you're a stupid, ugly moron, libtard, Republican. But we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not what this is about. So guys, let's see if we can't get intellectual and maybe solve these problems. I don't think our leaders are capable of doing it, so we're going to have to solve it ourselves. So we need to start talking to one another, start having real rational conversations, you know, around the water cooler, around, you know, at the barbecue, you know, whatever. And we need to be civil. And remember, these people aren't your enemies. They're someone else with a different opinion. And just because they don't agree with you doesn't make them a commie. It doesn't make them a racist. Just someone who has a different opinion. So anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Hope I didn't waste your time. I don't think I did. I try to be informative and at least get you thinking. That's my goal, is get you thinking. To maybe give you just enough of a push to make you maybe think about it a slightly different way. And even if it doesn't change your mind or change your stance, maybe you have at least a greater understanding of what's going on or a deeper insight into it. And maybe I can get a deeper insight into things too. Because I find that usually when I talk things out, I figure things out as I'm talking. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Have a good night. Have a good weekend. Look for a video, a important message from Gray Matters and myself. Look for the video. Hopefully this weekend. You know, I got things to do, and that this is a side project, unfortunately. Unless you guys want to start donating a lot of money for me to do this full time, which I'm open to. Just saying. So, guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a good weekend.